I'm going to attempt to teach you how to use the fluorescence microscope and the bright light microscope to take the images of your slides. So the first thing you're going to want to do when you come in is just log into the computer, and you can just use your regular PLNU login. You're also going to want to turn on the two lamps. So hopefully these lamps are turned off when people leave so that the bulbs aren't burning out. But this lamp right here will turn the bright light on, and this lamp right here is for the fluorescence. So you turn both of those switches on, and for the fluorescence you also have to press the ignition switch. And then after a few seconds you'll see the lamp ready will come on. And so then that allows you to view the fluorescence. And the fluorescence is just by moving these dials here. And you can see that at this switch here, you have green fluorescence, that's excitation, it'll be blue emittance. This is the one that you're going to care about because that for our carbocyanine, it's blue excitation and green emittance. And unfortunately, it doesn't appear that our DAPI worked. I have made new DAPI, but for this, all you need to worry about is the green because we don't have DAPI nuclei. Now, for bright light, what you're going to do is you're going to turn on this switch here, and then that turns on the bright light lamp. And this switch over here gives you your intensity. So you can see as I turn it to the right, the bright light intensity goes up. As I turn it to the left, the intensity goes down. We're going to want it fairly low, so you probably want to have it somewhere between 4 and 5 to start off with. So you're going to come in here. You're going to use this focus knob. So the big part is the coarse focus, and the small little dial here inside is the fine focus. It's the same thing as this over here, but this seems to be a little bit loose, so this one is working better. And so you're going to find your cells, and you're going to set up the focus for your cells, and you're going to really work with the dial to kind of get good contrast. And so a big part of that is decreasing the light so that the contrast looks pretty good. All right, and at this point, you are ready to take an image. So you're going to come here, and you're going to open up the Mautic Image Plus software. And when it first comes up, it's going to come up in this right here. This is actually where you can adjust your camera, your images you've already taken. So in order to take an image, you need to go to File and then go to Capture. And once you do that, this black screen should come up. It's black right now because I'm not sending anything to the camera at the moment. But what you need to do, you might need to do, is you need to come over here and make sure the video device is set to Mautic 10.0 megapixels. If it's on Mautic Demo, you definitely need to find the 10.0 megapixels. If it's not finding the 10.0 megapixels, or the screen isn't kind of refreshing, you might need to unplug the USB and replug it just so the computer reattaches to the camera. It's been fairly stable lately, but when I was first playing around with this, I had to do that several times to really get it to read the camera. But if it's saying Mautic 10.0 megapixels, you're usually okay. So then that brings us back over here. You can see we have this dial here on the top. When this dial is in, you can see that 100% of that light is going to the eye. So it has to be in for you to be able to see your image and get the focus and everything. But when you're ready to take an image, you take this dial up top here and you're going to pull it out, because pulling it out sends all of that light up to the camera. And unfortunately, when I pulled it out, it didn't do anything here. So let's go ahead and try and refresh this. And so now you can see the reason it wasn't doing it is I didn't have the exposure up high enough. So the two dials you are going to work with are exposure and gain. It's just like a regular camera. The lower the exposure, the less light that it's going to grab. And so as you move the exposure left, you can see that my image starts to dim out. And so you can play with that exposure and gain until you start to see your cells. There, I went too far. There, they're back. You can work with the gain just a little bit. Now, I'm not 100% happy with this camera because the cells look way better in the scope, but just do the best you can. So when you have an image that looks pretty good, so here you can actually see some of the cell extensions along the way. It's hard to see the cell bodies, but do the best you can. When you have an image that you like, you're just going to go up to this button here, and that means it's going to capture an image. And when you push that and capture an image, if you go back to the first screen that we were at, that's where you can work with that image. So again, here I'm going to push that button. And then when I come down here to the other screen, I should see images. And here I accidentally hit it 3 times. But when you click on that image, you can start to see it. This is where you can also save it. So you should be able to link up to your Google Drive and save those images and so forth, and make sure you name them. So what you're going to want to do is take an image at the 20x, and then you're going to jump over to the 60x oil. And you're going to put a drop of oil on here, and you're going to find an image at the 60x. So by the end of this, all you should have 4 images. You should have an image of the bright light at 20 and a bright light at 60x oil, and then you should have an image of your fluorescence, green fluorescence, at 20 and the 60x oil. And for the green fluorescence, all you're going to do is you're going to take off this slide. You're going to make sure the bright light is off, and then with your slide ready, you can just set it to the right setting. Make sure this is pushed back in so you can see, and then you're going to find your cells on the green. And the great thing about this program is whatever you see here is what is going to show up on the camera. So green fluorescence, you don't have to do anything different. You just find the green fluorescence on the scope, pull out the knob, and then it'll go to the camera over here. I don't actually have the fluorescence on there because I didn't want to bleach it. But then you would take the picture the exact same way we did with the bright light. We would just go back to our camera, and in live we would alter exposure and gain until we got a pretty good image of our green fluorescence there, the best you can. Get an image at 20 and an image at 60x, and then you're done. That's what you're going to put in your e-notebook. When you're done with everything, just make sure you close down the program. And please, please, please make sure that you turn off these so that we are not wasting their life. The fluorescence bulb is actually fairly expensive. Thank you.